Good morning and welcome to Face the Nation. I'm John Dickerson. Heading into Tuesday's primaries in Connecticut, Rhode Island, Delaware, Maryland, and Pennsylvania, things look good for frontrunner Donald Trump. In our new Battleground tracker in Pennsylvania, Donald Trump leads the field by a wide margin. He's at 49 to Ted Cruz at 26, and John Kasich is in third at 22%. Indiana holds its primary on May 3rd. It's where the Stop Trump forces think they have their best shot. The race is tighter there. Trump is in first with 40%, Cruz has 35%, and Kasich trails with 20% support among Republican voters. Turning now to the Democratic race, Hillary Clinton leads Bernie Sanders by 8 points in our Pennsylvania Battleground tracker, 51% to 43%. In Indiana, it's a tighter race there, too. Clinton is up 5 points over Sanders, 49 to 44, among likely Democratic primary voters. Joining us now for more on those upcoming primaries is CBS News Director of Elections, Anthony Salvanto. So, Anthony, Donald Trump had a big night in New York. So what do the rest of the states look like for him in the Republican field?
Well, coming up Tuesday, starting with Pennsylvania, where he's got a big lead, things look good. So if he gets the bulk of delegates out of there, now we look a week ahead to Indiana, where we also find him up. And, you know, what's happening in Indiana looks a lot like what's happened in many other states, where Ted Cruz is making the argument that Donald Trump isn't conservative enough. Well, Ted Cruz is winning the voters who want the most conservative things done. But those voters are outnumbered by people who say, do whatever it takes, do whatever it takes. And that group is for Trump.
And Indiana is the place where the Stop Trump movement thought they had a chance, but he's ahead there.
Exactly. That was one of the places where Ted Cruz was saying, this is where we can put up the barricades to try and slow down Trump's momentum.
So, big picture now, let's look at that big map in the Republican field. Where do we stand in Donald Trump's march to that magic number of 1,237?
I think he now has a clear sight line to clinching the nomination. If you figure he does well on Tuesday, if he can just be competitive, let alone win Indiana, that would keep him on pace, such that as we get out then to June, where the last of the primaries will be held, he will be in position to clinch. I think his issue is not just simply math and whether or not he can clinch, but if he can bridge this gap that we see in state after state between voters who are for him and very enthusiastic, very optimistic, and voters who are not for him and say that they're concerned, that emotional gap, then I think the math starts to take care of itself.
That's why he's perhaps changing his approach to things in terms of his tone. Let's switch to the Democrats. Pennsylvania, Indiana, how's it shape up for them?
Pennsylvania leads for Hillary Clinton. She expects to have a good night Tuesday as well, and then on out to Indiana, where she's got a smaller but a lead on Bernie Sanders. Look, the big picture of Hillary Clinton here is that she has enough of a delegate lead right now, and because of the way Democrats give out their delegates, which is both sum to the winner and the loser, she could actually afford to lose from here on out, lose primaries, as long as she keeps it close, and she'll still clinch the nomination.
And that's among pledged delegates she would still clinch.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a Sanders voter, why do you stay in then? Why do you want him to stay in? Why are you still voting for him?
Well, there is a sense of inevitability creeping in here, too, where very few Sanders voters actually say he is very likely to win the nomination. But they think he is having, at the very least, a positive effect on this campaign. They say that they think he is pushing Hillary Clinton towards more progressive policies, which is what they want. And as you know, historically, and you know this is better than anybody, you know, if somebody finishes second, what they want is that leverage. What they want is to be able to have influence over that platform. And Democrats say he's getting it.
That's right. Just in the last 20 seconds here, Anthony, is there any sign that anybody's worried about the fight continuing, hurting the ultimate nominee?
No, they aren't. Democrats, very few of them say that any of this has been negative. And in fact, they are enthusiastic about both candidates, about both Clinton and Sanders, whoever comes out. So it's all positive, at least on the Democratic side.
All right. Well, we'll see if it continues to be. Anthony Salvanto, thanks so much. We'll look forward to having you back again at the table to explain all of this for us.